Clone High, a Canadian-American adult animated series created by filmmakers Phil Lord and Chris Miller that aired on Teletoon and MTV from the years 2002 to 2003. Ghandi, a primary leader of India's independence movement, world-renowned as the architect of a form of nonviolent civil obedience that would influence the world. Clone High Ghandi, a controversy. So last year saw the announcement that a Clone High reboot was in development, in the midst of a quarantine-induced resurgence of the series, thanks to the world of JFK memes. A few days ago, we got a huge follow-up, as HBO Max has ordered 2 seasons of this reboot, which means it'll already outlive the original series. However, this comeback is accompanied by a mystery. Well, quite a few actually. Details about the new series remain largely unknown. Is it a hard reboot? Will it be more of a revival and pick up after the cliffhanger of the original series? Are they keeping the original art style? What about the beloved voice cast? But there's one question I want to focus on today. Will the character of Ghandi, the hyperactive party-going teenage clone, make it into the reboot? Because, oof, they are keeping that one particular detail close to the chest. For those of you who don't know, Ghandi's character was controversial to say the least, and is the official reason why the show got canned in 2003. Ghandi is the only main character from the original series not mentioned in any press release. And actually, in Warner Media's rundown of the upcoming HBO Max adult animation slate, they cropped Ghandi out of the traditional stock art for the series. Although that's definitely not a good sign, it doesn't necessarily mean he won't be in. There's a few factors at play, such as the streaming service who rescued the series. And there's a few ways this could all unfold. It honestly may not be as simple as Ghandi's in or Ghandi's out. So let's run through the history of Clone High's cancellation due to Ghandi, HBO Max's own history of censorship, and 3 routes I could see the show taking with this character. But real quick, if you want to stay in the loop with everything around the Clone High reboot, and just content on animation old and new, please be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. So how did Ghandi get Clone High canceled all those years ago? You mean you didn't watch my boy Nintendo's retrospective on the series? Come on, stop slipping. Well, the story doesn't actually start with Clone High, but with an article in Maxim magazine that depicted the real Ghandi just being absolutely pummeled by a muscular man. These illustrations sparked immense outrage in India, and when citizens researched this article further, they stumbled upon none other than MTV's website, where they'd be introduced to Clone High and its depiction of Ghandi. And instead of the wise, kind-hearted individual they celebrated, they found, you know. On January 30th, 2003, the 55th anniversary of Ghandi's assassination, protesters gathered and vowed to fast in response to Clone High, including Ghandi's great-grandson, Tushar Ghandi. Former head of Viacom and owner of MTV, Tom Freshton, was visiting the network's India branch at the time, and was trapped in the building. In 2014, he recalled that protesters basically threatened that they would revoke MTV's broadcasting license in India if they didn't take the show off the air. MTV offered a quick apology, stating that Clone High was created and intended for an American audience, and we recognize and respect that various cultures may view this programming differently, and we regret any offense taken by the content in the show. MTV executives actually enjoyed the show, and wanted Lord and Miller to pitch a second season without Ghandi. The duo came up with 2 versions of a second season that we'll get into. Yet, needless to say, they didn't move forward with the series. Clone High was dead. At the same time though, it was the early 2000s. Most adult animation was on the chopping block after a few episodes, so it didn't really come as a surprise. With that context out of the way, let's look at the platform Clone High is actually headed to, as I feel like this is honestly a good indication of what we could expect. This video is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. You can explore new skills, improve at your passions, and get lost in creativity. As an animation channel, let me tell you, Skillshare offers a large variety of classes, ranging from art to animation to editing to music, designed for real life and all the circumstances that come with it. I've been trying to improve my editing over the quarantine, and Skillshare has been the perfect place to sharpen my skills. The little details go a long way. This includes color correction. And Jordy Vandeput's class, Premiere Pro Lumetri, Color Correct Like a Pro, has been a big help. Clocking in at just a little over 2 hours, this course will teach you the ins and outs of color correction, how it differs from color grading, a lesson on white balancing, and so much more. Whether if you need to make the colors in your videos pop out, or if you're someone who has an interest in film production, this class is a Skillshare essential. Skillshare is created specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. The first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership, so you can explore your creativity. It's important to keep ourselves occupied during this time, so why not dive into a community that's nothing but learning about your passions? It's also affordable. It's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. Get started at skl.sh/theroundtable02211. Again, that's skl.sh/theroundtable02211. HBO Max. I like HBO Max. HBO already has some pretty high quality content, so combine that with the libraries of Studio Ghibli, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, DC, new theatrical movies, and more, you're going to have a good time. Yet, you won't find every episode of every show on there, because if there's one thing HBO Max wants to wash their hands of, it's controversy that could cost them subscriptions. The usual banned episodes of South Park remain missing. Unaired in the United States episodes of The Boondocks didn't make the cut. Hell, even See Me Feel Me Know Me, the Powerpuff Girls rock opera special that never aired over here, is gone. And that episode was available on Hulu. Overall, since the launch of HBO Max, many episodes of various series, live action and animated, have been pulled from the service for being perceived as offensive. Which makes me doubt if they even bother getting the original series on their service, as tragic as it sounds. So the most logical conclusion from this is that Clone Ghandi, as we know him, won't be in the new Clone High. Because even if HBO Max adores the series, the character is rooted in controversy. But all may not be lost for this neurodivergent goober. Again, Lord and Miller pitched two versions of the second season pertaining to Ghandi. And not only do I suspect that these two methods are being revisited for the reboot, but I think depending on how cheeky they want to get, we could see a third option as well. Starting with scenario number 1, no Ghandi. So the first pitch of the original series' second season saw no Ghandi at all. Not a single mention, no one would acknowledge he was gone, things would just carry out as normal. Well, as normal as things can be at Clone High. Since this would follow HBO Max's out of sight, out of mind philosophy, I sadly assume this would be the best bet. Although it's not the one I want, I feel like without Ghandi, the lead characters, namely Abe and Joan, would have to be actively interacting with their clone peers in order to keep the show fresh. Give them more to do beyond the love square they got going on with Cleo and JFK, since Gandhi's antics often served as a B-plot or C-plot. They could just up the ante with Scudsworth and Butlertron, but that's the easy way out. However, I would hope that they would replace them with a brand new character. There are plenty of historical figures to pull from, and Clone High now has 20 years of history to incorporate if they wanted to. Why work with a limited cast when you could expand the horizons and have this reboot separate itself from the original series in a memorable way? Hell, get bold with it. I'd rather much have the roster include Lady Liberty or the world's most famous cyborg, Mark Zuckerberg, than just having Clone High be down a character. Okay, not the best examples, but I'm hoping you get the idea. If there's no Clone Ghandi, then we need a new character that can provide pure levity and occupy a subplot. Give us a wild card that we immediately want to see more of, and I'll be satisfied. But let's switch gears and focus on scenario number 2. Ghandi is Gary Coleman. So this was the second pitch of the original second season. Ghandi would be revealed to be not a clone of Ghandi, but actually a clone of Gary Coleman.
What you talking about, Willis?
A retcon that actually would have made an offhand joke in season 1 a clever foreshadow instead. This would change virtually nothing about Gandhi's character. He'd just be going by a different name. Keeping him out of press releases and cropping him out of images would effectively keep the heat off of HBO Max from all angles, preventing a situation where the show is canceled before it even comes out. Knock on wood. And it builds anticipation for a satisfying reveal when the show finally rolls around. If it is a hard reboot, they could commit to this bit by even giving Ghandi a redesign to look more like Gary Coleman, but retaining the character's voice and personality. Something that I would hope would be viewed as an effective loophole. Now, it is worth considering that between the original run and this reboot, Gary Coleman did pass away. I'm sure that has an impact on the odds of them going down this route. And that brings me to the third and final scenario, one that I think is the least likely out of the three, but I also think would be hilarious if they went for it. Gandhi's still in, but he's never referred to as Ghandi. Imagine this, Clone Ghandi's present and accounted for, but no one knows or cares to remember his name. His name effectively isn't Ghandi, but the audience at home knows who he is. I think this could be a pretty good running gag, as long as they keep getting weird and innovative with it. It could start out with something as simple as Ghandi wearing a fake mustache, but evolve into him being an expelled student who's infiltrating school grounds for unknown reasons. Hell, tie it in with the government. Wouldn't a good punchline to the running gag of, "That's obviously Ghandi," be an insane twist where this clone was never even Ghandi in the first place? What if he's a clone gone rogue? What if he was never a clone at all? What if he was hired off Cameo or something? Much like the Gary Coleman route, this would enable the character of Clone Ghandi to stay present, but provides the potential to build into a bigger, albeit very much goofy narrative for a season finale. Look, as much as I adored Gandhi's character, probably because he's a short ADHD brown guy like me, I recognize why he or any of the diverse cast of characters come across as offensive to an outsider, especially in a time like 2003, when it was hard to find representation of any non-white character that wasn't a stereotype, secondary lead, or troublemaker. As much as I want to see him return, he's an animated controversy, so I won't be too surprised if HBO Max and the creative team doesn't go forward with his character in the revival. It might just be the wrong place, wrong time for Clone Ghandi, but it's a miracle this show is coming back in any capacity. So I really don't feel compelled to complain if they confirm he's out. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. Do you want Ghandi in the Clone High reboot? And ultimately, if they went any of these three routes, which one would you prefer? Let us know down in the comments, and you can catch us at Roundtable Vids and me at Ultra Fox on Twitter and Instagram. Shout out to the amazing JANKYBONES for creating an awesome thumbnail. If you want more of their amazing art, you can follow them on Instagram and Twitter at BoneJanky, follow them on Tumblr at JANKYBONES, or subscribe to their YouTube channel. Links down below. Thank you to our amazing patrons, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to throw it a like and subscribe. Alright, see you guys!